Live from Dwyer Stadium in Batavia, New York, it's once again time for Elmira Pioneers baseball, as after a day layoff, your Pios are back in action tonight versus the Batavia Muckdogs. Good evening, everybody, for the Pioneers Baseball Network. Farrell Hudson, glad you could spend part of your Friday evening with us as the Pioneers desperately in need of a victory versus the first-place Batavia Muckdogs. Elmira so far on the season, 1-3 against Batavia across 4 ball games, a minus 22 run differential. Besides the one great start from Owen Hoyt that the Pioneers got back on June 13th, they have been winless against the Muckdogs, including 2 ball games that have taken place from right here at Dwyer Stadium in Batavia, New York, back on May 31st. Let's give a recap. A 13-1 loss in 7 innings, a mercy rule victory for the Muckdogs over the Pioneers. Granted, it was the first road game, second game of the season for Elmira, so don't necessarily want to put too much stock into that, but a couple weeks ago, Pioneers came right back, and that was part of their 2-7-1 skid in their last 10 ball games, and it didn't go so well for them. Pioneers dropped that ball game 10-5 as well. It saw the debut, however, of Brett Baker, who notched the RBI single in the top of the 8th, and Brett Baker has been money since. Extra base hits, OPS over 1,200 while playing very solid center field, and that's a very loaded outfield that the Pioneers have right now. In terms of the depth chart, you've seen multiple different Pioneers man the center field position specifically. You've had Dylan Fatovich, you've had Brett Baker, you've even had TJ Grimesti hop over to center field. Granted, you've gotten a lot of TJ Grimesti from back behind the plate, and it seems as if that's where the coaching staff is indicating that TJ Grimesti will get the bulk of his playing time, especially down the final week or two stretch of the regular season. Pioneers have 16 games to go, and for Grimesti, he's dealing with a little bit of hamstring tightness, but nothing too crazy that would keep him out of the lineup for a potential playoff scenario. Grimesti, the ability to hose so many runners, we've seen it early on this season, but back to the point of Brett Baker, he's been phenomenal from the left side of the plate, minimal strikeouts so far, and really putting together what has been a nice first couple 6 to 8 ball games for the Pioneers right now, who could use the extra offensive depth. Elmira towards the middle of the charts, rolling in with about a 260 batting average collective, which is middle of the pack in the PGCBL. In terms of offensive numbers, Pioneers' only area in which they have an incredible strength is in the strikeout department. They've been top 5 in the least amount of strikeouts, and that's ranging both across the Perfect Game Collegiate League West Division and the East Division throughout the course of the 2025 season. So certainly a positive for Elmira in that category. Let's take a look at the last couple of ball games for your Pioneers. As we alluded to, it's been a very positive run right now for Elmira. Plus 23 run differential in the last 3 games, a 3-game win streak which the Pioneers desperately needed. If you remember, this season's been a tale of 2 seasons almost, yet the Pioneers still find themselves 3 games over 500 with a lot of destiny in their control despite the playoff scenario being out of their control. A lot of the teams that they're chasing, like we alluded to, 3 more games against the Batavia Muckdogs. You begin tonight, then you have next Friday's game at home versus the Muckdogs at Dunn Field, then you play them once again here on the second to last day of the regular season in the PGCBL West Division. Pioneers will take on the Muckdogs for a 4th and final time 15 days from now from Dwyer Stadium. So a lot to still be had, but you go back to Tuesday night's ball game. Pioneers with a 2-game home win streak now following the loss to Newark last Saturday. It started with the Geneva Red Wings on Tuesday night, a ball game that didn't necessarily start so hot for the Pioneers, as getting the start on the bump was Ty Hodella. Only lasted 2 1/3 innings of work. It was a 5-3 Geneva lead heading to the bottom of the 4th inning, but then that's when the Pioneers really got the offensive engine turning. Brendan Hammer got on base to lead off the bottom of the 4th, stole a bag, Aiden Grabowski drove him in. Then you had TJ Grimesti get plunked. There was a hit batsman. He came around to score on a sac fly from Brandon Dubeck. Michael Palmer followed it up with an RBI single. We mentioned Brett Baker and his offensive impact. Tuesday night's game against Geneva, Baker reaching in 3 of 5 plate appearances. His only 2 outs recorded, a fly ball to center and a strikeout looking. That came in the bottom of the 3rd against the tricky right-hander in Dawson Thomas, who labored through 4 innings of work. He allowed 6 earned runs, took the loss on 7 hits, 4 walks and 3 strikeouts, 1 looking. That came to Baker. That was part of a 3-run, 3-hit bottom of the 4th inning, in which Geneva also recorded 2 errors as well. Pioneers had a 7-5 lead as they headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. That's when tonight's starting pitcher Garrett Rochon came into the ball game in the top of the 7th. The line for the Pioneers in terms of the pitching staff on Tuesday went Ty Hodella, 2 1/3. Larson Birch, who was the star of the show in that ball game, locking down the victory to go to 2-0 on the season. 3 2/3 innings of work for Birch. 2 hits, no walks, no runs, no earned, with 5 strikeouts and 1 looking. And For Birch, that's really important because the Pioneers bullpen has been giving some great length lately, and you want to talk about the bullpen. The bullpen game might be needed this weekend because you have 5 games in a matter of the next 72 hours for the Pioneers, but the good thing about Coach Drum and what he's been mentioning is he feels really confident about the guys in the bullpen. You'll hear him in a little bit on the pregame report on Pioneers Pregame Live, and he's talking about guys like Andrew Roxby, Larson Birch, who have come in and have absolutely shut down in their roles. Garrett Rochon got an appearance in relief after Birch on Tuesday night. 2 innings of work and worked himself into some potential self-inflicted wounds, but still did not give up any runs, any hits, no earned runs, 5 walks and 4 strikeouts across the 7th and 8th inning. Pioneers took home a 6-run bottom of the 7th against Geneva on Tuesday, including a 3-run bases-clearing double by TJ Gurmesty to highlight what was an inning filled with walks. 5 walks combined between both Smitty Washington and Matt Mady. Pioneers took the ball game 13-5. Then we moved to Wednesday night's game versus Newark. Pioneers playing their 4th home game of the season against Newark, overall their 15th home game, and Elmira got off to a pretty good start. A 2-0 lead. Bryce Mashanik got the start on the mound for the Pioneers. It was a nice bounce-back start from Bryce Mashanik's July 2nd start in Auburn, in which he necessarily didn't fare too well, got touched up by the Double Days bats, another team that has definitely caused your Elmira Pioneers some trouble to begin the 2025 season. But starting off, Bryce Mashanik avoided a leadoff walk in the top of the 2nd, a 2-out walk in the top of the 1st, no runs through the first 3 innings of action. Newark saw their first hit to come in the top of the 4th. That was when the Pioneers were already ahead 2-0. Then Newark, or rather shall I say, Elmira got 3 runs in the home half of the 4th inning on Wednesday night. That came from a walk from Jacob Monis to lead off, then another walk from Brooks Hicken, a walk from Brendan Hammer, Aiden Grabowski, an RBI walk. So walks were the main story against Logan Bowman and John Lucas Sanchez, who issued 3 walks through a third of an inning. Ty Baker then came in afterwards. He was the 3rd relief pitcher for Newark. 2 2/3 innings of work for him. 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. No looking. Kaz Zeiser completed that ball game. Pioneers locked down an 8-3 victory to improve to 3-1 versus the Pilots at home. So 3-1 versus Newark, 2-1 versus the Pilots at Colburn Park. Overall, Pioneers are 11-3 against both the Geneva Red Wings and the Newark Pilots. The rest of the PGCBL, though, 5-10-1. We alluded to the fact that they have struggled against Batavia this season. Garrett Rochon looking to right those wrongs, especially from his relief outing, which came back on May 31st here at Batavia. An overall rough night for the Pioneers as they dropped that ball game by 12 runs. Let's take a look right now at the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League standings as we enter tonight's ball game. It's a bit of a tight one right now. You have the Batavia Muckdogs, who have their slimmest lead that they've had in a while, a game and a half up in first place right now. Muckdogs rolling in with a 29-1 record on the season, so there's going to be some making up to do for sure. But the good news for the Pioneers is, despite all that, they are 4 games out of first place right now, so Elmira holding their own. We mentioned the ebbs and flows. Pioneers started 0-3 to begin 2025, then 2-4 through 6 games, got to 11-5 with a 9-2 stretch in 11 games in which they won 7 of 8 on their home field. So overall, really good for the Pioneers right now. You have Batavia in first, Niagara Falls in second, Jamestown in third, and then you have in fourth place, you have Auburn just ahead of the Pioneers. Pioneers trailing the Double Days by 2 games. Double Days have had a bit of a rougher go-round as of late. Pioneers starting to play some better baseball. They're now 5-4-1 in their last 10, following that 2-8 stretch across 10 ball games in which the Pioneers got back to a 13-13-1 record. So overall, you could say pretty satisfied with the way the Pioneers are playing baseball, all things considered. There's been a multitude of different lineup mixes, and through all of that, Coach Andy Drum's still finding a way to be productive and get the job done. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups for both the Pioneers and the Batavia Muckdogs. First, beginning with your Elmira Pioneers, Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop, will lead things off. Ty Martineau, the DH, will bat second. TJ Gurmesty, doing the catching, will bat third. Brett Baker in center field will bat fourth. Brandon Dubeck is the EH. He'll bat fifth. Michael Palmer at first base will bat sixth. Andrew Hartman in right field will bat seventh. Andrew Hartman had a really solid debut game for the Elmira Pioneers. 2 for 5 on Wednesday night. Came around to score 2 runs, including a single in his first at-bat, first pitch he saw in an Elmira Pioneers uniform. Dumped a single into right field, came around to score the first run of the bottom of the second inning for the Pioneers on Wednesday night. John Simmons back at third base tonight. Simmons got the night off on Wednesday night. Brendan Hammer got the start at the third base position. Ben Rohde, he's in left field tonight, batting ninth, and rounding out the batting order is Brendan Hammer at second base, who's been about as good as it gets from the left side or right side of the plate, Hammer finding ways to continuously work pitches and get deep in counts, which is something the Pioneers could definitely use. It's something that Andy Drum is utilizing right now towards the bottom of his batting order. Hammer's been so serviceable all season. You can put him at third, you can put him at second base, and he's hit for a high average of 420 plus on base percentage. So he's been a constant mainstay in the Pioneers lineup since his arrival. Let's get to the manager's report today. Prior to tonight's ball game, I got the opportunity to catch up, as always, with the manager of your Elmira Pioneers. Here's Andy Drum.
Joined on Pioneers Pregame Live, as always, by the manager of your Pioneers and Andy Drum, ahead of tonight's road ball game versus the Batavia Muckdogs. Coach, getting started, your thoughts on the 8-3 victory over Newark on Wednesday?
I thought we looked really good. I thought we've been playing really good ball this week so far. It's 3 in a row, which I believe is a winning streak. So we're excited to get out there and hopefully get 5 wins this weekend.
Before the 3-game win streak, 2-7-1 in the last 10, what's been the difference in turning the corner?
I feel like we're just playing clean baseball. I know we had a game this week with 5 errors, but we limited the damage, put up zeros after the third inning. I think it was 2-1-2 and then all zeros on the board. So just limiting the damage, not putting up those 5, 6, 7 spots, and always giving ourselves a chance to win if we do that.
In terms of limiting the damage, Bryce Machanek did that on Wednesday night. Phenomenal through 6 innings of work. What were you seeing from him that made him so effective?
Bryce has looked really good in both of his starts. I know he had a rough first inning against Auburn. I think gave up a 5 spot, but every inning since then he's looked really, really good. Attacks the zone, good velocity on the fastball, curveball looks good, so we're excited to have him in the rotation now.
And speaking of the curveball and off speed in general, was that kind of part of the decision to go to Andrew Roxby out of the bullpen right after Bryce and that fastball heavy pitcher?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of mix it up a little bit. I thought Sammy Watts looked awesome out of the bullpen as well. Came out with 5 strikeouts. So these bullpen guys are starting to step up and do some damage out there.
What was it about Sam Watts that made him so effective on Wednesday?
His fastball velocity looked really good. First fastball he threw, I looked at the coaches. I'm like, that looked like it was pretty fast. So fastball velo looked good. Slider looked good. Just kept the hitters off balance.
Do you think it's a bit of a mental hump to overcome when all these pitchers get on the mound the first time? Because it seems like every go-round's been better for every reliever since.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we need these guys down the stretch, especially those middle relievers. Like we have some pretty good starters. We're pretty strong on the back end. Those middle guys have looked really good over the last week. So they're keeping us in games and giving us an opportunity to win.
In terms of tonight's ball game, 1-3 versus the Batavia Muckdogs on the season, what's going to have to change in order to secure victory tonight?
We got to come out and compete early and compete for a full 9 innings. The 3 games that we've lost, we've kind of just rolled over and let them beat us. I think all 3 of those, or 2 of those 3 were mercy rule games. So we just got to come out, set the tone early, and play our style of baseball.
What is it about Joey Martinez on the other side that makes him so tough to manage against, especially in late game situations later on in the season?
Joey's a great coach. He always seems to give his team an opportunity, especially in close games. You saw last night they walked it off in the bottom of the 9th. Joey does a great job of finding ways to win games late in the game.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, there you have it. Batavia Muckdogs last year, 34-8. They took home first place in the PGCBL West Division. We know what kind of power they can provide. Joey Martinez in his 3rd year managing the Batavia Muckdogs, doing an excellent job as always. And, yeah, Coach Drum mentioning what a relief impact Sam Watts had. We'd be remiss if we didn't speak about Watts. Watts also out of UMass Dartmouth, along with former teammate Jacob Mona, is now reunited on the Elmira Pioneers, and Brett Baker as well, who's had quite the impact. We alluded to Brett prior to in the pregame show. You go back to Wednesday night's ball game in terms of the relief efforts. Bryce Machanek, 5 2/3 innings of work, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. They turn it over to Andrew Roxby, who's been dynamite out of the bullpen. A breaking ball towards the top of the zone has been his bread and butter. An inning and a third innings of work. No hits, no runs, no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts, 1 looking. And then Sam Watts just breathing absolute fire out of the Pioneers bullpen. 2 innings of work, no hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. You want to know a recipes for success? 3 walks against 9 innings, and that's going up against a Newark team that has been up and down so far this season. They've secured a lot of victories in close ball games. You look at even the victory they took over the Pioneers, 6-5 last Saturday. So Elmira's played tough, but one thing is for sure about Marcus Smith's squad. They are going to remain in that playoff race as they have all season long. Every time you think, hey, maybe they're down a game or 2, they find a way to consistently come back. So this is a really good 6-team race you have right now. You speak about the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. They've gotten up to 18-11, 8-1 in their last 9 ball games, 8-2 in their last 10. They were 10-10, now 18-11. So Tarp Skunks really playing well. Niagara Falls descending slightly, still in second place. The Auburn Doubledays at 17-10-4. Pioneers are 2 games back of them, and they have a game in hand. So a win over the Muckdogs tonight would mean a lot. You close to within 3 ball games of first place, potentially a ball game of Auburn with 15 games remaining in the regular season. You have a doubleheader against Niagara Falls tomorrow, a second-place team in which you're chasing. You play Niagara Ironbacks at Dunn Field on Sunday, a 4-26 ball club that you feel like your chances are pretty good at, because you're talking to Eugene Barber a couple weeks ago in one of his pregame availabilities. He said, no disrespect to any team, but a team in which you have played strong against and/or has not played entirely well to begin the season, you have to bury and play better. That'll do it for our brief coverage tonight on Pioneers Pregame Live, but be sure to stay with us here on the Elmira Pioneers Baseball Network, as shortly after 6:30 we'll have our lineups, defensive alignments, pitching matchups, first pitch, baseball from Dwyer Stadium, Pioneers and Batavia Muckdogs for the 5th time this season. For now, I'm Farrell Hudson saying so long. We'll see you in a few short moments.